My son and I were ecstatic because, God willing, the next appointment would be to go over the new images and to schedule a surgery. However, unknown to us, this meeting would be different. An hour prior to the appointment, Miss Stephanie Flores called, and she was calling to cancel my appointment. She said my appointment had not been approved by the insurance. When I asked why, she said she did not know. I called the insurance and I found out that the appointment was requested on October 23rd. The appointment that I scheduled on October 3rd was not requested until October 23rd. And because it was not requested stat, it would take 5 business days to get approved. I called managed care in Sacramento to find out how I should manage the situation. They were up to date with all the issues I had been having, and they suggested that I go to my appointment. So I did. When I arrived, I was checked in and put in a room. When the nurse left, Miss Stephanie Flores came in. She asked me what I was doing there. She reminded me that my appointment was not approved, and I told her that I had already driven very far and that it was not my fault that it wasn't scheduled appropriately. After a while, she went to ask Dr. Weber if he would agree to see me. I was approved to see him after promising that I would pay for the appointment if my insurance did not cover that specific day. I agreed. When Dr. Weber walked in the room, he shook my son's hand and then he shook mine. A handshake that was a little too hard, as if to say, I'm the one in charge. And then he went across the room and sat down. When he opened up my images, he scrolled in. He chose an image that would scroll in and out. He scrolled in, and the only thing you could see was a glowing ring around my femur. He proceeded to tell me that my body had found a way to heal itself and the tear was no longer there. I was dumbfounded. I stood up and showed him the tie that I had to use in order to keep my hips together, especially when driving. I looked at his face and it looked like he wanted to laugh. He told me that the popping noise that I heard on my hip was not the femur. When I asked him to show me the images from before and the current, he looked upset, but he pulled them up. And again, comparing it to the one where he scrolled in just enough to see a healthy femur with an intact glowing labrum around it. I left in tears. My son and I went into the car and I began to wail. I was completely distraught, and so was my son, because this highly educated man, who was probably insulted that my medical insurance would cover his surgeries, was such a big disappointment. I would not be better. He did not want to help, and he certainly didn't care about my health.